right, we are live on Facebook. That right there is Chris Brown. I am Steve Montoya. We are talking recruiting, but not the recruiting you may think of, the 5-star, the 4-star, the 3-star, not that type of recruiting. We're all about the facts here, trying to find the best fit for all the athletes out there thinking about playing at the next level. Some really good stuff here.
Yeah, Steve, so many kids want to play any sport, regardless, at the next level. And and they want to know what the best fit is for them. And Tom's guide provides a lot of great information regarding that.
All right, before we bring in Tom, we want your questions. If you have specific questions about your future, some fact information, leave the comments below. If we don't get it live right here on the air, we will definitely answer your comments in the comment section below here on Facebook. All right, enough of us. Let's bring in the founder of Lateral Sports. That is Tom Blameyer. Tom, welcome to the show. Glad to have you on board. All right, looks like we don't have Tom's audio as of yet, but we will work on. All right, Tom, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, we got it. The beauty of being live, Chris. All right, Tom, thanks for joining us here. Let's get right into the Lateral Guide, what it's all about, the college guide. Break it down for the folks out there. How could this help potential athletes, parents, and high school coaches around the country?
Yeah, thanks for the great intro. You're exactly right. This is, more than just ranking the top 50 or 100 kids in the country. The goal of the Lateral Guide and the Max Preps partnership that we're doing here is to help any athlete break down, find information, discover schools where they might be able to have a fit to play. And to do that, we've gathered data on every single college program in the country. There's over 1,300 four-year schools. Football specifically, about 750 have football programs. And so for the last 5 years, we've tracked every high school athlete that's made that jump to college, tracked them freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, and break down that information to help current high school athletes make a better decision and find a better fit. So for example, there's a breakdown of every team showing the number of quarterbacks, wide receivers that every team has at senior, junior, sophomore, freshman class. We can show you every coaching staff that's recruited your state or your city and show you where kids from your area have gone on, had success. The goal is to help kids find a spot where they want to be for 4 years. Attrition rate is really high, and for the first time, we have the data to actually show that the chances a freshman is still on the roster as a senior can be as low as 1 in 3 in some sports and college sports. So we want to reduce that rate and help kids find a better place to play.
Yeah, Tom, and you mentioned roster opportunities, and can you just talk a little bit about if these kids want to play at freshman or if they want to, find out what schools have, senior DBs. Can you talk a little bit about how the guide provides that sort of information?
Yeah, definitely. I think any high school kid or parent can relate to Google searching rosters and counting how many players at their position are graduating or that they would be competing with. And so the Student Athlete College Guide will do that for you and basically tell you here's teams with no underclassmen players at your position returning, or here's teams that have 10 freshmen and sophomores at defensive back or offensive lineman or your position. And it can also be a great tool if you're a transfer type player and you're looking for a place where there's not many upperclassmen kids coming in or coming back to a school, and you can find a spot on that roster. So whichever, like you said, if you're looking to play right away, that's how I would look at that data. And having it all in one place can help you see what's normal. Is 2 sophomore running backs normal, or is that going to be a lot of competition relative to other schools?
Yeah, hey, so Tom, right now we're looking at Clemson's roster in the guide, and we can see that if you're a quarterback in high school and you're committed to Clemson or you're wanting to play at Clemson, you can see that they have 3 freshmen on the roster. If we could pull back up the guide, 1 sophomore and 1 junior. So if you're looking to maybe potentially come in and start right away at Clemson, it's not going to be as easy as, say, a school with 4 seniors and maybe 2 juniors on the roster. So a little example of what the guide may give you, right?
Exactly. And, being able to fire through those schools and just see a quick breakdown can give you a really good picture right away. October 1st, the new guide with 2016 data will be available, and really excited. We wait till all the first games have been played, and there's still a couple teams that haven't played yet this year.
That's right. So what we're looking at right now is the information from last year. So as Tom said, the new information will be coming out October 1st, and it's also the opportunity to get the lateral guide as well, so you can have it in your hands, whether you're a coach at a high school or a parent or an athlete. So for all the high school coaches out there, this is a great tool to basically walk your athletes through. And it's not just football.
Every sport.
Many other sports we have for you as well inside the guide. And it's not just Division I schools. We break down every college level outside of JUCO for the moment. So if a kid walks into the coaching staff and says, hey coach, I'm 5'11", I really like playing the defensive line, well, the guide can help you learn about what type of schools may take in a 5'11" defensive end. All right, let's get into a little bit more depth about the guide, and we're going to break down now the quarterbacks. Quarterback obviously is a big position at all levels, and sometimes if you're 6 foot or 5'11" or maybe even 6'1", 5'10", you're thinking to yourself, do I have a chance to play at the college level? Tom, break down some of the info you give.
Yeah, I think this is a great example to start with, and you kind of alluded to it with the defensive lineman example there. I think there's a lot of talk and a lot of hot air about how tall or how big you have to be at a certain position, and there's one great way to find out, and that's to look at the actual facts and to look at it just objectively. Let's look at every single college athlete, every quarterback. The Division I level, the average quarterback is 6'2". And the thing that's great about the guide is it's not just a black or white, you have to be this tall or that tall. We provide the entire distribution. So if you're 5'10", you can find the schools, find the conferences, find the types of programs that have recruited players like you. If you're a 6'2" cornerback, it'd be very easy to find schools that play with a taller type of DB.
So Tom, I'm going to cut you off here a little bit. So right now on the screen, we're looking at the height of Division III quarterbacks, and you can see 21% of all college quarterbacks at the D3 level are 6 foot, and then 6 feet and under, Chris, we're looking at 12.1% are 5'11", 10% at 5'10". There's even a 5'7" quarterback in Division III level. So this just kind of shows you the power of the information. Look, if you're 6 foot, you're 5'11", you still have, and you really love the quarterback spot, you have a chance to play at the next level.
But hey, I'm 6'5". There's still a chance for me too.
All right. Well, you're 6'5", and I'm glad your chair is a little lower so it doesn't make me look as small. All right. So Tom, thank you so much for breaking down the quarterback position. We do have a couple comments and questions out there, and Tom, not to put you on the spot too much, but we may jump in on Facebook but this is the type of data that you can give inside this guide. Philip asked, are natural fullbacks in demand anymore? Tom, is that a type of question that you can find inside the guide?
That's a perfect question. Great example. So the rosters that have fullbacks, we can pull those and show running back. Here's the schools that have fullbacks, or use the weight data. If a school doesn't necessarily list fullbacks still on the roster, we can pull every school with running backs over 230 pounds. And the distributions are really cool. At D1 through D3 schools, it varies the size of the running back, and there's also very distinct programs. Maybe 50 out of the 700 still run with a fullback, but if you're a great high school fullback, those are the 50 that you should be targeting and not wasting your time and all your money throughout your recruiting time on the wrong schools.
All right, Tom, and then another question coming in. Do you have to pay for the guide? And if so, what is the cost of the guide? When will it be available on Max Preps?
Great question. It'll be a $99 purchase. It's a PDF e-guide. Essentially, there's a breakdown of every school, 2-page breakdown of every program, plus extra sections by position, by region. It'll be $99 for approximately a 2,000-page PDF guide.
All right, Tom, thank you so much. And before we get to any more questions right now, let's go ahead and jump in, Chris, to tie this back a little bit to the current football season.
Yeah, we got to get our rankings in here. And Tom, if you look at some of the top teams in our Excellent 25 rankings, Spurl, if you could bring those up. The number 1 team, you can see there on the screen, Bishop Gorman. They put 32 kids. They put 32 kids on college rosters last year, 28, Steve, to Division I.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Tom, can you just hit a little bit on maybe some of the other schools that are put a lot of kids out into D1 programs?
Yeah, well, St. Thomas Aquinas is the flag bearer. They had 68 players on college rosters last year, extravagantly high number. Modern Day always does well. Last year they had about 37 players playing college football that ranked in the top 25. And Cedar Hill, I think, is just outside the top 10. They're second behind St. Thomas Aquinas with 52. This will be definitely fodder for a whole episode of its own, I think. And next week, or hopefully the week after, we'll have all the new 2016-17 rosters and be able to tell you every high school with the most players playing in college.
Yeah, it's really interesting that the guide allows you to break down basically what high schools produce the most talent. But when you really look into the guide, and we're going to get to this next week when we break down this show, it's really interesting to see the type of high schools that do produce talent. It's not always the top 25 teams in the country. You have schools all over the country putting out kids in college, and what's great about the guide too is you can see maybe you're coming through a high school, and you want to know, hey, has any kids from my school came out and made it to the next level? The guide gives you all that information right there.
Just to expand a little bit more, Steve, the guide, you can split it up by region too, which is really cool. So if you're in Northern California, if you're in the Midwest, you can see what schools recruit that area. But like you said, get to that next week.
Yeah, so again, what we've been doing here is looking at college recruiting, not like we typically do maybe on Max Preps or other sites around there like 24/7 Sports, where you're looking at the top 250 athletes or anything like this. What the college guide is all about is helping you, the athlete or the parent of an athlete or a coach out there, find the right fit for your athlete wanting to play at the next level. And it's not just football, many other sports out there, volleyball, soccer, you name it, baseball, basketball. The college guide gives you all that information right there. We've been talking with Tom Blemeyer, the founder of Lateral Sports. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them on our Facebook page right now. We'll be sure to get you the answers, if not right now, on the air. We'll get to them as we see them come in overall. So we'll be doing this each and every Wednesday on our Facebook page. Join us live. Next week, we'll be breaking down some of the high schools producing the most talent around the country. All right, Tom, thanks so much for joining us. That's Chris Brown. I'm Steve Montoya. This is MaxPreps.com.